This is Carla, and welcome back to the studio. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Throwback Thursday. So, we are now near the end of the month of October. So, for this Throwback Thursday, I am going to be featuring a stamp set that was for Halloween. Let me just kind of scoot this so we have it nice and straight in our video. I do have my laptop off to the side here, so I just want to make sure that we got a straight image within our screen. So next week is Halloween. So I don't know if this is actually celebrated in any of the other countries. It is something that's kind of celebrated here in the United States. And last year when I did Halloween, I did almost a whole entire month of nothing but Halloween. And it was, in my opinion, in the end, it was just a little bit much. So I kind of cut back just a little bit on Halloween. Plus, not only that, in our holiday mini catalog, we really didn't have much of anything in regards to Halloween. We just had something that was in our online exclusive. And again, so I just didn't want to do so much because I was using a lot of the same color. And after a while, it does get a little bit boring. And I can't seem to get this to like just want to be straight. I mean, what I see on my phone looks straight, but what I see on my laptop screen doesn't look too much like it is. So I apologize if I'm doing too much of that. I just want it to be as straight as possible in the screen. And hopefully I got it. So again, I apologize. Again, when I look in the screen of my phone, it looks fine, but yeah, it's not looking too straight. Well, I'm going to stop and I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, so again, I decided that this year I wasn't going to do as much Halloween as what I did last year. So I am featuring Halloween this Thursday. Tomorrow on Friday the 25th, I will be live here at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be featuring the Potions and Spells bundle. That's an online exclusive. And then in our September scrapbooking brochure, which you can see all of those products in the online store. And I do have a link to it in the description. There is a 12 by 12 pack of DSP that coordinates with that bundle. So I'll be featuring that next tomorrow. Next week, there'll be two more Halloween themed projects that I'm going to do because next Thursday would be a throwback Thursday, but also that day it is Halloween. So I will actually have two pre recorded videos for you on that day. And then on that Friday, starting November 1st, we're basically going to go all out in doing Christmas related stuff. Now, I have a little bit of fall that I didn't use. I may throw that in. It could be for Thanksgiving too. I don't know, but we're going to go in full gear when it comes to Christmas. So next Friday, the 1st, it won't only be my Friday Night Live, again, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time right here, but then it's also going to be my monthly Christmas card inspiration as well. So, a lot of video content coming out to you next week. But let's talk about today. So, again, I'm using the Boo to You stamp set. Now, this did not coordinate with any punches or with any dies. It's a standalone stamp set. Now, it wasn't bundled with it, but one of the things that was in the catalog that was featured on the same page are these assorted googly eyes. And these are like assorted sizes, and then you got some that's either Highland Heather or a gorgeous grape color. You had some in this green. It could be lemon lime twist, or it could be granny apple green. And then we had some of these yellow ones, which look like they would have been mango melody. So assortment of different sized googly eyes that I will be using on both of the projects that I make for you today in this video. So let me start off with bringing in the supplies for the first card. Let me kind of move that out of the way. So I have a piece of pumpkin pie. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4.25. I have some scraps here. So I have a piece of basic black, and ahead of time I had die cut it using the Nested Essentials die. So I had used this larger rectangle shape die. I also have two more. I have another little scrap of basic black. With this one, I will be using this one, was this 1 1/8 inch scalloped circle die. And then I have a piece of, a scrap piece of basic white. I will be stamping my greeting on that, and then I'll be punching that out using the 1-inch circle punch. And then I have another scrap piece. This is the one that I will be stamping my image on, and then afterwards I'm going to die cut it out. I'm going to use another one of those Nested Essential dies. This one I'm going to use the next size in from this larger one that I used for my basic black piece. So I'm going to set that aside, and we'll do that in a moment. So this is a very simple laid out card. And for this, I'm going to take my card base, I'm going to fold and burnish it. And I will set that aside. Okay, and then let me bring in what I'm going to be using here for ink. So I have my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm going to be doing some coloring with my Stampin' Blend. So you do want a water-based ink when you're coloring with alcohol markers. And then I'm also going to bring in my Lemon Lime Twist. So let me pull out the images that I'm going to use on this one. And we got this one. So it's a very simple stamp set. It has 2 greetings and then 3 images to it. So I'm going to take my zombie looking image. I'm going to ink this up and make sure I ink this up really good. And I'm going to stamp this right in the middle. Okay, now I'll set that aside. I do want that to dry completely before I start coloring with my blends. And then I'm going to take the greeting, and this one says just a little creepy. And I'm going to bring in the other scrap piece here. Ink this up. I'm going to stamp that right in the middle. Okay. Yeah, last year I did almost a whole entire month of Halloween, and I can tell you after a while you start to get a little bored with using basic black, pumpkin pie, whether it was lemon lime twist, granny apple green, and gorgeous grape. used those colors a lot last year, and I decided that when I was going to do Halloween this year, I'm not, someone that really celebrates Halloween at all. I mean, I like to craft, but the cutesy type of Halloween, I don't even do like scary movies or anything like that. It's just not my cup of tea. Okay, so I'm going to take my 1 inch circle punch, and this greeting just fits. So I'm going to line this up, and you'll see there'll be more white towards the bottom than on the top. And I'll punch that out. And then with my scrap piece of black, I will do the 1 1/8 inch scallop circle punch. Punch that out. Okay. Then I'm going to I'm going to use my liquid glue for this. And I'm going to add some to my little white piece. And then I'm going to center it on my black scallop. It just has a little bit of that black showing around it. Okay. And let's close this up. And then what I'll do is now, since I'm using black cardstock, I'm going to use my black dimensionals. So I'm going to put one on the back of that. Okay, now let me bring in a piece of scrap paper because we're going to be doing some coloring. Okay, so for this, the colors, not a whole lot of colors that I'll be using. So I'm going to bring in my light lemon lime twist, and I'm going to color in his skin. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in a retired color. I'm going to bring in my light Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to color his pants in with this. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my light pumpkin pie, and I'm going to do his shirt in this. Now I'm not looking to really do any blending at all on this image, so I'm just putting some color down. Okay, and I forgot his ear. Okay, and then for his hair, I'm going to use some light smoky slate. Okay, so that is all the coloring that we're going to do for this. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to die cut this image out so he just fits in this. Now, what I am going to use, I have an electronic die cutter, so I am going to bring this in and I'm going to use it to do my die cutting. So I'm going to place this, I'm going to kind of center him in this piece here. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to bring in my other pieces here. So I'm going to bring in my liquid glue again. And I'm going to adhere this piece down to my basic black. And I'm going to center it. Okay, and press that down. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my black dimensionals. And I'm going to add some on here. Okay, remove these backings. And then I'm going to center this like so. And then on my greeting, now I put my dimensional closer to the bottom of this because I'm going to overlap it just a little bit on that piece like so. Now the one thing I have noticed that with the black dimensionals, they seem to be a little bit more stickier than the white ones, but so they stick really well. Okay, so one more little step to this. I'm going to pull out two of these googly eyes, so I'm going to bring out the white ones. So I want a larger one and a smaller one. Okay, and then I'm going to take my glue, add a little bit on the eyes there, and then bring in my take your pick tool. Oops. Okay, now I'm going to take the smaller one and put it on this eye here. Oops. Okay. It wants to shift. Okay, and then let's get this larger one. We'll place that one right there. Okay. Close that up. So there we go. There is our first card. Don't want to do that too much. It's not that glue's not completely dry yet, but it does dry fairly quickly. Okay, so now let me bring in the pieces that I need for my next card. So for this one, basically it's all black and white, but there's going to be some splash of color when we do our coloring. Okay, so for my card base, I have a piece of basic white thick. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. I have 3 scrap pieces of basic white, and then I have 3 pieces of basic black. Each one of these measures, they're all a 2-inch square. So I have 3 of those. I'll set those aside. And then let me fold and burnish my card base, and then take this and put it aside. And then we'll do our stamping and our coloring, and then we got a little bit of die cutting to do. All right, so I am going to use this zombie image again. This time I'm going to use the other greeting that says "Boo to You." And then I'm going to use this werewolf, and then there's this horned monster. Okay, let's see. For my greeting, I want to kind of make sure that I put this on here straight. Okay, and then I need my other box here for the other 2 images. This one's a little too small, so I think I may need my larger one. I'll just put my werewolf on that larger one. Okay. All right, so let me bring in my scrap paper again. And let's see, we need the black ink. Right, I'm going to ink this up. And stamp this. Okay, set that aside. And then bring in my monster. And stamp that. Okay. And then let's get the werewolf. This one, I'm going to turn my scrap in that direction. Because what I'm really looking to capture from these images is more of the top part of them. Okay, so let me close this up. We'll use that for our greeting. And to let these dry some, I'm gonna go ahead and clean my stamps here really quick. This time I'm using my Stampin' Scrub instead of my my chamois. Okay. All right, so let's go with this guy since this is the first one that we had stamped. So for this one, again, I'm going to keep my coloring. It's fairly on the simple side. Again, I'm going to use my light lemon lime twist to color in his skin. It's hard to believe that we're already near the end of October already and going into November. This whole year just seems like it has gone by so quickly. Let's not forget his ear this time. Okay. And then for his top, I'm going to bring in the light pumpkin pie again. Okay. And then for his pants, I'm going to bring in the light Highland, well, no, actually the dark Highland Heather. We don't have a gorgeous grape Stampin' Blend, but the dark Highland Heather kind of comes a little close to it. Okay. And then for his hair, this time I'm going to bring in the dark Smoky Slate. Okay. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow. So on the skin, I'm going to bring my dark lemon lime twist. And I'm just going to add some, just a little bit of shadow. Okay, and then we got okay. And then my dark pumpkin pie. I'm not trying to be perfect in any way with my coloring. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to set this aside. Then I'm going to bring in my monster. Now this one I'm going to bring in the dark Highland Heather. And I'll do his horns. Okay. And then I'm going to take, let's see, I want my light Bermuda Bay. And I'm going to color him in. So when I go to die cut these, I'm not going to die cut the entire image. Part of it is going to be cut off, like the bottom, like some of the bottom part. But I am coloring the whole image in because depending on how I line up my die, I want to make sure that I have gotten everything that's going to be within that die cut colored in. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to take my light lemon lime twist and I'm going to color in these spots on his horns. Okay. And then for the inside of his mouth, I'm going to take my light smoky slate and I'm going to color that in. Okay. And then I'm not going to worry about the nails that he's got on the bottom of his feet. So that way so the teeth kind of stand out. I am going to bring in my dark pumpkin pie. And I'll just add a little color there. Okay. All right, so now he's done. I'm going to set him aside. Let's bring in our werewolf. So now for this one, I am going to bring in my light Highland Heather and I'm going to color in the shirt. Okay. And then for the bottoms, I'm going to bring in my light lemon lime twist. Right, and then my dark Highland Heather. I'm going to do some shadows. And again, I'm not trying to be perfect with this and add like a whole bunch of blending. Okay. And then my dark lemon lime twist. Add some shadow. All right, and then for the rest of him, I'm going to use my bronze and the ivory. The bronze and the ivory come together in a 2-pack. All right, so then the center of his face, I'm going to do that in the ivory. Okay. And then I'm going to take my dark smoky slate and I'm going to do this tip part of his nose. And then with the bronze, I'm going to color the rest of his fur in. Okay, and then I'll do the top part of his nose here, like so. Okay, so that's all the coloring that we are doing. So for these pieces, I am going to bring in the die that I'm going to use for this. Now this comes from the Perennial Postage dies, and I'm going to use this size square here. And I'm going to again bring in my magnetic plate and the actual clear cutting plates as well. Now again, I'm not looking to die cut the whole entire image. I just want a portion of it. So I am going to kind of line this up like so and go die cut this. Okay, so there is our first image, and then our monster. I'm going to kind of angle this a little bit. It won't work that way. Which way do I want it to go? That's okay. And then our last one. This one takes up a good part of the so there is our third image. And now these three pieces I am going to glue onto my 3 2x2 inch squares of basic black. So this is going to leave just a little border all the way around. Okay. Okay, and one more. Okay, so we got that on there. Actually, on this one, I want to bring in, I didn't do any shadow on this one. I'm going to bring in my dark Bermuda Bay. And I can still do this. It's not going to bleed. Well, if it bleeds through the white, you're not going to see, you're not going to be seeing the back of this anyway. Okay. All right, so let me close this up. And then on the backs of these, I'm going to add some black dimensionals. The black ones are really good to use when you're either using black cardstock or if you're using a darker colored. That way, if you were to look at your card where you're looking at the side, what you'll see is you see that they're black all the way through, and you wouldn't see white. Okay. So one of the things I want to do now, I'm going to be stamping my greeting, but what I want to do is I want to take my squares and I want to lay them down where I'm going to be adhering them. And I'm just going to use one of my blocks to hold it down. And then do this one right here, get another block. Okay. And that just shows me where it is that I will be stamping my greeting. So let me ink this up. Okay, and then let me straighten this out. And stamp that right there. And let's hope I got it straight. Well, it's a little crooked, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, one of the things I want to do is I want to fix that. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in my basic black Stampin' Right marker, and I'm just going to kind of touch up a little bit on these letters. Okay. All right, so now let me go and adhere this all down. Okay. Place this one right up here. And then we'll add our monster right down here. And then our werewolf will go over to the right hand side in between the two of those. Where's the edge of that card? Okay, now we're going to add some of these googly eyes onto it. So for the zombie, we're going to use a small green one and a larger white one. And then for the werewolf, I got this smaller, what looks like Mango Melody. And what do I have? I got my little sample over here, so I use the same size. So I'm going to take a smaller, try and get a smaller white one. And then for our monster, we want one of our larger purple ones and a smaller, see, a smaller, this smaller? Yeah, it's a little bit smaller, so we'll use that one. Okay. So let me add some glue here. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to add green one right here. I'm going to hold it for a moment so it stays down. Okay. Don't want to put my hand in the glue. Okay, and then for our monster, we'll add our purple one right down here. And our white one up here. Okay, so there is our second card. So let me bring in the first one. So we had one where we did just the character, the zombie character, and then we did one where we featured all three of the monsters. So we've used all the stamps. There's just two greetings in there, so we've used both the greetings and we used all the images. So there are our first projects that are geared around Halloween for the year. Again, this year I'm not doing as many Halloween projects as I did last year. One of the reasons is that as far as current product goes, we don't have much of Halloween at all. We just have the one bundle, and then there's a standalone ghost stamp set. So that standalone stamp set, I'll use that actually on Halloween for the holiday special video. So again, I will be live tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I'll be featuring the potions and spells bundle along with the coordinating potions and spell DSP. Um, a couple of things that I do want to just make mention, and it's only because we're coming to the to when it ends. So there's a couple of things that are going on. Let me just bring that out really quick. So we have, where's all the, oh, where's all my papers? Okay. So we have, let's see, we have a starter kit special that is currently going on. This will end on the 31st of October. You can get the starter kit. The regular price is for it is $99. And instead of getting instead of choosing $125 in product, you can choose $155 in product. Again, it's product of your choosing. You can get stuff that's out of our current annual catalog, our holiday mini catalog, and also whatever we have online. So online exclusive items, and also what's in our clearance rack. And when you sign up in October, you can actually add some of the pre-order items that are currently in the online exclusives that will be going, will be becoming available to customers in November. Um, I had all my stuff and now I can't find it. The other thing that's going on is the kits that we have in our kits collection. Now, this does not include any of the paper pumpkin kits. And I'm trying to find the graphic that I have, or the printout that I have for it, and I'm not having any luck. I don't know at this point where I have put it. So if you go to the online store, and I will mention this in the description. If you go into the online store and go under kits collection, you will find the kits that we have in there are up to 30% off. I'm not sure as to what's currently available right now. You will find that there may be a couple of kits, one of those kits being the Haunted Home kit. That actually went on back order not long before it became available. And that will be coming back. Stampin' Up! Said that it will be back sometime in November. But they will be having that kit carrying, remaining in the online, in the kits collection all the way through Halloween of next year. Some demos have actually used that Haunted Home kit to just use the reverse side of it, or you can cover it with designer series paper, and you can make it like, say, a gingerbread home or a Christmas home. You know, you can change it up to reflect different seasons if you would like. That's one of the kits, but again, that's currently unavailable. So if it says currently unavailable, then that means it will be coming back. If you just don't see it, then that means it's gone, but there are still some kits in there. There's kits that are card kits. There are kits that would create like ornaments, some kind of home decor and treat packaging as well. So there's a bunch of kits out there, and that too, again, up to 30% off. And that sale also ends on the 31st. So that's all on the announcements that I want to make mention of. I will have those links if you want to check it all out in the description of the video. I also have a link to my newsletter. If you would like to be on my newsletter list, I typically send those out near the beginning of the month. I try to wait until I know what the two new kits are going to be for that month before I send it, so I can give you a little bit of a sneak peek and description of it. I also include a schedule of all my videos. So coming up in November, I'll have a list of all the different products, whether it's just the individual stamp sets, bundles, suites that I'll be using for all of my Friday Night Lives and my Throwback Thursdays and my holiday and so forth and so forth. So also, I include like any type of promotions or info that Stampin' Up has going on. I also include the classes that I also hold as well. So near the beginning of the months, I do have a monthly Christmas card club. For those that are local to me, if you would like to make your Christmas cards throughout the year, you're welcome to use my stamp sets. I have a whole variety of stamp sets that cover the holiday. And then I also do a class where I'll feature a current suite of product. Now for November, again, we're going to be really gearing up for doing Christmas stuff. So I haven't pinpointed quite yet what my in-person class for November is going to feature. I will tell you that that class may be later in the month. There are a few things that are going on, but again, I will have all of this in my newsletter. So if you're interested in being on my newsletter list, the link will also be in the description as well. So again, that's all I have for you today. If you would like to join me again tomorrow night, I will be going live right here at 7 p.m. and I'll be featuring the Potions and Spells bundle. And I hope you can join me. So everyone, be safe and have a blessed one. Bye bye.